Welcome to the Lantern's Tale. Let me guide you into tonight's chilling true story. In 1928, deep in the shadowy heart of Pennsylvania Dutch country, a murder was committed that would shock the nation and stir ancient fears of witchcraft and dark magic. Tonight, we revisit the eerie tale of the Hex Hollow Witchcraft Murder, a story of superstition, betrayal, and the terrifying power of belief. Hex Hollow was the name given to the remote farmland of York County, Pennsylvania, a landscape of rolling hills and ancient woods where old-world superstitions clung to the air like mist. In this quiet, close-knit community, belief in hexes and folk magic was woven into daily life, whispered from porch to porch, from generation to generation. At the center of this story was Nelson Rehmeyer, a quiet and solitary farmer who lived alone in a weathered wooden house deep in the hollow. Rehmeyer was known as a powwow doctor, a practitioner of folk healing who used ancient charms, prayers, and herbal remedies to treat the sick and protect the superstitious. Some saw him as a healer, a man who could banish curses and bring blessings, but others, in hushed voices, whispered that he was a witch, a man whose power came from darker forces. In the autumn of 1928, a young man named John Blymeyer became convinced that he had been cursed. His crops withered in the fields, his health faltered, and he claimed he heard strange voices in the night. Fear took root in his mind like a creeping vine, twisting his thoughts. Desperate for relief, Blymeyer turned to local superstition for answers. Soon, he became certain that Rehmeyer had placed a hex upon him. Seeking help, Blymeyer visited a local soothsayer, a woman who claimed secret knowledge of the spirit world. She told him that to break the curse, he must steal a lock of Rehmeyer's hair and burn it to ashes. Only then, she said, would the spell be broken. Driven by fear and dark belief, Blymeyer recruited two others, John Curry and Wilbert Hess, to help him face the old healer and end the supposed curse. On a cold November night, under a moonless sky, the three men crept through the woods to Rehmeyer's farmhouse. They carried candles and an air of dread. The door creaked open, and they confronted Rehmeyer, demanding he give them the lock of hair. But Rehmeyer refused, standing firm in the face of their fear and superstition. In a frenzy, the three men attacked. Rehmeyer was beaten and strangled, his body left lifeless on the wooden floor of his lonely home. They searched the house for the lock of hair but found nothing. In desperation, they set fire to the house, hoping to destroy the hex and the source of their terror. But the flames quickly died, leaving Rehmeyer's body behind, untouched by the fire and shrouded in the cold dark of Hex Hollow. Days later, the murder was discovered, sending shockwaves through the community and the nation. The crime was both brutal and bizarre, a man killed not for wealth or revenge, but because of an ancient belief in hexes and curses. Newspapers across the country seized on the story, painting Hex Hollow as a place of witches and dark magic. Headlines screamed of folk spells and whispered curses, turning the quiet Pennsylvania countryside into a place of fear and superstition. At trial, Blymeyer and his accomplices claimed they had no choice, that Rehmeyer's dark power had driven them to the edge of madness. They said they truly believed he was a witch who had cursed them, and they acted out of desperation. But the court saw only murder. Blymeyer and Curry were sentenced to life in prison. Hess, still a teenager, received a lesser sentence, but would forever be haunted by that night. Rehmeyer was buried in the quiet earth of Hex Hollow, and his house, scorched by fire and blood, became a grim monument to how ancient fears can bloom into deadly violence. The murder became a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder that even in the modern world, the oldest superstitions can still hold sway. Today, the house has been restored, standing in silent testimony to that night of fear and death. Visitors still feel a chill in the air as if the very walls remember the violence done within. Some say the spirits of Hex Hollow still whisper among the trees, a ghostly reminder of the power of belief and the terrible things it can make us do. For those who remember, the Hex Hollow Witchcraft Murder is more than a tale of violence. It is a haunting testament to the darkness that can take root in the human soul, and the shadows that still linger in the quiet places of the world. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. If you enjoyed this true story, join us next time, if you dare.